on motivation. Chapter 6, Understanding Motivation. As we build up the psychological toolkit with skills that help us manage through life, it's easy to imagine that motivation is one of those tools. But motivation is not a skill. Neither is it a fixed personality trait that we are either born with or without. So many of us know exactly what we need to do. We just really don't feel like doing it right now. And when later comes, we don't feel like it then either. Sometimes we can get all fired up about a goal and things start moving in the right direction, but a few days later that feeling fizzles out again and we're back to square one. Motivation that goes up and down is not a fault in the system, it's part of being human. It is a sensation that comes and goes just like our emotions, so we can't always rely on it to be there. But what does that mean for our dreams and goals? Your brain is constantly paying attention to what is happening in your body. It knows what is happening to your heart rate, your breathing, your muscles, and it reacts to the information it receives, making judgments about how much energy it should expend on the task in front of you. This means we have more influence over those feelings than we think. When we start to change what we are doing with the body, it has an influence on the activity in the brain, which in return influences the feelings that are produced in the body. This is something we can use to our advantage. When we are dealing with that can't be bothered feeling, there are two main prongs of attack. One, learning how to cultivate a feeling of motivation and energy to increase the chances of it appearing more often, and two, learning how to act in line with your best interests even when motivation is absent, developing the capacity to do what you need to do even when a part of you doesn't feel like it. Procrastination or anhedonia. I want to make a distinction here between procrastination and anhedonia. Procrastination is something everyone does. It's when we put something off because the job we need to do triggers a stress reaction or some other feeling that is aversive. I have made hundreds of educational videos for social media, but give me a video to make that feels uncomfortable or difficult to get right and I will skirt around the job all day, convincing myself that all those other things I am getting done is me being productive. In fact, it's usually me procrastinating because the idea of making that particular video feels difficult or uncomfortable that day. Anhedonia is something different. This is when we stop taking pleasure in the things that we used to enjoy. Anhedonia is associated with a number of mental health problems, including depression. When we feel that way, we start to question whether anything is worth the effort. Things that once brought joy start to feel meaningless. So we stop doing the things that have the potential to lift our mood because we have no desire for them anymore. When you start to avoid something that is important and potentially meaningful to you, the natural response is to wait until you feel like it once again. You wait until you feel energized or motivated or ready. The problem with this is that the feeling does not arrive spontaneously. We need to create it through action. Doing nothing fits the lethargy, and that can't be bothered. Feeling and makes it worse. Motivation is a wonderful byproduct of action. It's that great feeling you get when you are on your way out of the gym, not on your way in. It's that feeling of energy and momentum you get once you have started something and your brain and body start to rise to the challenge for you. Sometimes the feeling is fleeting, at other times it lasts for much longer. Much of that will depend on all the other factors that are either working to foster it or squash it. So when we start doing something, even when your flat mood says, I don't feel like it, we can trigger a biological and emotional shift. This doesn't mean that putting some music on or doing a single workout is going to solve all your problems or change your life. But it sets in motion a series of events that shift your direction. If you start doing that thing that you wish you felt like doing, you have more chance of stimulating your brain in a way that brings about enjoyment or sense of motivation. For someone who is struggling with depression and suffering from anhedonia as a part of that, the pleasure in activities and the motivation to engage in them takes time to return and can vary up and down for a long while. There is a period in which we have to grind, doing things that matter to us even when we don't feel like it in order to re-engage with the pleasure we used to feel. So as to say, as a chapter summary, motivation is not something you are born with. The feeling that you are energized and want to do something cannot be relied upon to always be there. Mastering motivation is building the capacity to do what matters most to you, even when a part of you does not feel like it. Procrastination is often avoidance of stress or discomfort. Anhedonia is when we no longer get a sense of pleasure from the activities that we used to enjoy. This is often associated with low mood and depression. If something matters to you and could benefit your health, don't wait until you feel like it. Do it anyway.